Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you something extremely valuable to anyone who is investing in land. It is how to comp land, how to find the value of land with AI in 60 seconds. This is a brand new tool that was released where you get a comp report, you get a predictive price, and it is going to change the game in land. So let's get to it. All right, before I get started, if you guys don't currently use the land portal, there's a free 14-day trial in the description below. Click that, get started, see what you think, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. But let's get to the comp report. Let's get to the predictive pricing. What we're going to do in this video, we are going to run 3 comp reports and then essentially test the pricing. So we're going to have a predicted price from the comp report, and then we're going to actually test it. That might take 5 minutes per deal, something like that. And we're going to show you how fast you can do it using the comp report. So let's choose a random area. I'm going to go down to Georgia. And let's go, I don't know. Let's go up here. Where is this? Butts County, Georgia. Let's choose, I'm going to look for like a 5, 10, 15 acre property somewhere in here. We're going to run the comp report and see what it comes up with. So I'm going to try to stay in this county. Again, I want to choose a normal acreage size, 5, 10, 15, 20 acres, something like that. See what this is, 3 acres. Let's get to something a little bigger than that. Let's choose right here. Let's do this. That's 4 acres, 5.69 acres right here. All right, I think this is going to be perfect as far as kind of showing you guys the value in this. We have 5.69 acres in Butts County, Georgia. So you can see this button up here. This is the AI report section, and we have 2 reports. We have the slope report and we have the comp report. So we're going to click comp report and we're going to hit send request. This will take a minute, sometimes a little longer, but around a minute to actually get the report, and it will fill out here. But while we're waiting for that, I want to explain to you what it actually does. So as we click that button, what it's looking for comps in the nearby area with similar acreages. It's going to remove outliers, and it's going to compile all of these comps and then come up with that estimated price. Let's see what we have here. Let's click comp reports, open a new tab. So we have that. And let's see if this is it. Butts County, Georgia. Here we go. So here we have Butts County, Georgia. You can see the property picture, everything like that. And we are all good. So going through this report, let me download this so we can download up here. And then we're going to pull it up. All right. Couple zooms here. And we have our land. You can see it gives physical attributes of the land, how much wetlands, how much FEMA, elevation, everything like this. This is not the most important part, but it's definitely valuable to be on here. You can see the acreage. You can actually click these links. All of these links on here are clickable, but we're going to focus on the estimate part. So we have $61,000, $843.30 as the estimate, which is $10,868 per acre. But we're going to scroll down and actually see, okay, here's our estimate. Let's see what comps it's actually using. So we can see here, you can see a lot of data in here. You can see what wetlands, slope, everything like this. But what you're going to focus most on is, all right, here's the acres. Here's the distance from the property. This is how far from our subject property this is. You can see the price per acre. You can see when it sold. And the nice thing is you can click any of these and it's going to pull up the property. So if I hit the first comp that it's showing, we can click that, actually see what's going on here. 5.37 acres nearby, similar land. You can click MLS details, $54,000, everything like this. But like I said, the purpose of this video is I want to test how accurate this is. And I'm going to do it just like how I would if I was reviewing land before the comp report came out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually pull up some comps, and we're going to see how this stands up to our predicted price. All right, so what we're going to do, our subject property is right here. We're going to pull up Zillow. So we want to look for some 5, 6, 8 acre comps in this acreage range, and I'm going to give an estimated price not based on our AI. I'm going to test against this. I want to see how accurate this actually is. So what we are going to do is pull up Zillow, and we are going to go to Butts County, Georgia. We just want land, so we can just type in land there, Butts County, Georgia land. And our property's up here somewhere. So I'm going to kind of cut off. So what you want to do when you're comping land, and this is what the AI does by itself. You want to start in close with similar acreages and then spread out if you don't get enough comps, if you don't have enough quality comps close. So I'm just going to scroll up here. It's not going to take anything outside of the blue. We want to stay in county as much as possible. So I'm going to go 2 to 10 acres. And we have for sale right here. I'm going to worry more so about sold. So we have a few properties here sold. We have 7 acres for $100,000, 7 for $110,000. One thing about these are both in subdivisions. So you can see Fincherville Road. This was a subdivide essentially. So sometimes those can be skewed high or low. So I really want to find 4, 5, 6 acre comps, to be honest with you, and see if there's any outliers, see what we're missing here. And again, compare our price on there. Here we have 1.3. This is $13,000 an acre. Nothing great. We're going to have to zoom out a little more. We're going to have to go a little farther out. So here we have 3 acres. This one's a little closer to city limits, which can drive the price up for sure. I am looking for some 5 acre comps right here. So let's go newest also. Let's click instead of that. Let's click newest. So we can see this one. This one's much higher than our projected. This one's much lower in terms of price per acre. So again, the AI is taking a combination of these, getting rid of outliers, looking at the quality of the land, and then coming up with an estimated price. 6 for 85, 5.33. Let's look at this comp. This is an interesting comp. This is very close, obviously, to our projected price. But that being said, that doesn't mean it is correct. So this one was listed for sale early 2024. It took about 3 months to go under contract and sold for 66. So that is a pretty solid comp. Here's another one. This is more acreage, so it's selling for more. This one's just about $11,000, maybe a little more, $12,000 per acre. So let's see what we have here, how fast this sold. This is a really old comp, so I want to be careful with that. Let's pull up our comparative analysis again and see what is going on here, see where these comps are. So again, 5.37, and this one wasn't pulling up on Zillow, so you can see that we're getting comps even that aren't on Zillow. I did not see this property on Zillow. So we're going to pull up this comp and see what's going on. All right, so let's look at the MLS details on here. Let's look at the explanation on here. I like this comp quite a bit, to be honest. This is about $10,000 per acre. And the thing is, this one, and it takes into account all this, this one sold in 6 days. It was listed on 1/7 and it sold, went under contract essentially on 1/13 and then actually sold on 1/29. All right, let's look at our other ones and see what's going on. For me, I feel like this $61,000 price is pretty darn accurate, but I do want to keep testing it against this. So let's look at this 5.46. This one was $58,000. Very similar acreage range to ours. All right. A little bit of overlap. It might have been, they might have sold this. The satellite image might be a bit off on there, but we can see MLS details. This amazing 5.46 acres. Let's see again how fast it sold. 6.5 listed, 6.14 it went pending, so it took 9 days to go under contract. Sold a little under what it was listed for, so it sold for about 90% of what it was listed for. For me, if I was comping this property myself without the AI comp report, I would probably expect our property, which was, let me pull that up, not that one, just this one, I believe. Yep. So it was this property. What I would expect our property to sell for is anywhere from 58 probably to like 63, 64. I don't think there are some higher comps, but I think those were outliers that were in subdivisions. So that's really key when comping land. For me, I think this comp report, our estimated price here is probably within about 3 to 5% of what the property would actually sell for. So let's go on to the second one. This one obviously turned out pretty well for us. Let's go to a completely different area. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh the page here. And we're going to choose a completely new area. Let's exit out of all of this. And let's go Pennsylvania. We could go Pennsylvania. We could go anywhere, honestly, but let's go Tennessee. All right, so Tennessee, a little bit different land. and I want to choose something. Let's choose a more expensive area. So we're going to choose something around here. We're decently close to Nashville. Let's see how this looks. We are going to scroll in again. I'm looking for a 5, 7, 10 acre comp. You can do this at any acreage range, but for this, like a lot of deals that people are doing right now are 5, 10, 2 acres, anything like that. So I do want to be in the ballpark of where a lot of people are doing deals. Let's see what this is. That's a little bit of an odd property, so we're going to skip that. See how big these are. These are 2.16. We could do that. Still want to look for a little bit more land, to be honest with you. See if we find anything. And we could always do a quick search to find some properties, but we're going to keep looking here for a minute. What's this? 15.3. I don't mind this at all. Let's do a 15.3. We are, I don't want to say suburban Nashville, but we're one county removed from the Nashville County. So this is going to be, I expect it to be a pretty expensive area. So we're going to hit AI. We're going to hit comp report once again. We're going to hit send request. All right, so now let's go to our comp reports once again. Let's hit open a new tab. I'm not going to click off that one. I want to keep that one up, and we're going to hit download on this new one. And I'm just going to open this up. All right, so we are in, I don't even know what county we're in. We're in Robertson County, Tennessee. Let's give it a couple zooms so we can see a little better. Again, you can see the picture of the property here. Amazing. 15 acres. Very little wetlands, no floodplain, elevation, average, that's fine. A little bit of slope here, but overall it's pretty flat. Like you have 36% as minimal plus the 1% flat. This is very minimal slope overall on the property. A little bit of extreme, but that's no big deal. 363 feet of road frontage on here. And you can see, like I said, this is going to be an expensive area, $346,000 for the TLP estimate, $22,000 per acre. We are just out of Nashville. I was expecting a high price just like this. So we are going to compare. We're going to see. And looking down here at our comps. So we have some very interesting comps, honestly. So we have 15 acres for $367,500. Very similar acreage. I'll hit one more zoom so you guys can see a little bit better. Our first comp, our most weighted comp. And these comps are weighted from 1 to 10. It's different. Sometimes the difference in 1 to 2 is going to be so minimal. Sometimes the first comp is such an amazing comp that it's going to have extreme weight. So these comps are weighted. It is not just an average. I didn't show you guys this on the first one, but you can see this is a map, a distribution of the prices for the properties that we are looking at. All of them are numbered. But let's go through here and look. So the first comp, 18.7 for 328. This is under our price per acre. We have a 346 estimate. What I'm going to do here is pull up Zillow first. Let's pull up Zillow. Let's go to Robertson County, Tennessee. And again, these properties are 100% at random once I get in. Like, these are random. I'm picking random areas. Obviously, we want areas with some comps, everything like that. But that being said, these are completely random areas. So here we have 5 acres for $210,000. This is extremely expensive. I'm not really worried about a 5 acre comp right now. What I do want to do, though, is make sure I know exactly where we are in the county. So Baggettsville, we were just a little bit north of Baggettsville. I'm going to go back to our comp report one more time and see how far these comps are. So this comp is heavily weighted, but it is 19 miles away, which is probably why I'm guessing it's going to be a little further from Nashville. We can pull this up and actually see. I am guessing there, but I'm guessing it's going to be a little further from Nashville. And it's going to be harder to get there. So our property is right around here, while this one's just a little more out there, like I said, on kind of the other side of the county. So while that is our most weighted comp, I'm guessing these other comps have quite a bit of weight as well. So our second comp is 20 acres. I'm very curious in this. This is $29,000 per acre. Then our third comp is very similar in terms of the acreage, a little higher in terms of the price per acre. But what I want to do here, let's look on Zillow. Let's fix our acreage here. I'm going to go up to 20 acres. And I'm going to go down to 10. So you can see how expensive of an area this is. We have 10 acres for $365,000, 10 acres for 122. So this is what makes the AI so valuable. Like when you are in areas like this and the accuracy of it, and you have 10 for 122, and then you have 10 for 365, like what's going on? So finding out reasons, getting rid of outliers is very important when doing this. Here we have an extremely similar comp. We have 15 acres for $334,000. What I'm curious is how fast this sold. So this one actually never showed listed for sale. That's probably why it's not on our comp report. I'm gonna just keep on scrolling down, see what's going on. Here we have 15 for $300,000. Just click into some of these. So there's a chance this one would sell for more as far as our comp. I think this one we might be a bit low. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 360 to 370, 375, just looking at some of these comps. That being said, I do want to look at for sale, see what's going on. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and this is why we might be a little bit with market changes. That's what's so nice about this. With market changes, it knows really fast and it makes adjustments. So you can see here, if we have 15 acres and we're trying to sell it for 370, that's going to be hard when you're competing with 18 acres for 360. So now this is making me think, okay, maybe our property is only worth 345, 340, somewhere in there. So our for sale, we have quite a bit of competition. This is a very important part when comping out land, is looking at what you're actually competing with. So I'm going to go back to sold, and this one's making me think that our comp report is actually much closer than I originally thought, because we do have these recent comps. This is actually a very solid recent comp as well. 12 for 300, which if we put this into a calculator, just pull up our calculator, and we'll do 300 divided by 12. Again, that's not exactly 25,000. It's a little less acreage, so that makes a lot of sense there. Going back here, so this one was a little under $25,000 per acre. Let's see how fast this sold. So this one sold, it took 5 months to sell. It's kind of an old comp, and it sold for $31,000 over asking price. There are some higher comps. For me, I have no issue at all. A lot of times when I'm comping out these properties for our students, for our members, like I always give a range because I'm not exactly sure where we're gonna be. But for this, and based on the for sale, that's what really turned it for me. Based on the for sale, I think this one's going to be anywhere from like 330 to 350. There's a chance you could get a little more, but that being said, it's hard to compete with this property. Like if you're trying to list this for over 360, why would this one not be selling? Because this is direct competition. You have direct competition with this property. It is going to be much more difficult to sell a 15-acre property for 360 than an 18-acre property for 360. So for me, this one would be anywhere from 330 to 350. I'm going to plug this in real fast. I'm going to type in Robertson County. All right, so we have both of these properties that are relatively close. I said 330K to 350K. I don't think this one's going to be any higher than that but again, we are right in that ballpark for both of these. I'm very, very happy with both of these results. Again, let's pull up the land portal. I'm going to drag this over here. Let's pull up the land portal and let's go to a completely new area. All right, so property number 3, we're gonna go to Sumter County, South Carolina, and we have 9.29 acres here. So this is a different acreage range than we've done before. Let's just scroll down and see the physical attributes of the land. Slope, very, very minimal slope, 67% in the minimal range, which is amazing, very flat. Not much slope going on with this property. Scrolling down, let's find our wetlands FEMA. So no FEMA, but we do have 46% wetlands here. So keep that in mind as we're doing this. Water features, wetlands. So here's our wetlands that you can see. And it probably has a creek running through it at the back. Yeah, you can see this creek running through the back here. So it does have a little bit of wetlands. Keep that in mind. Let's hit the AI comp report. Or actually, I think I already hit that button on this one. So let's get rolling on it. So let's go to comp reports here. Here we have it. So again, 9.29 acres, Sumter County, South Carolina, and it's projecting 54,000. Let's just plug this in on our sheet real fast. Sumter County, Sumter, South Carolina, 9.29 acres. TLP estimate is 54.3K. I don't want to forget about that, guys, in terms of the 50% wetlands on our property. We need to keep that in mind. Our property has 50% wetlands. It does take that into account. All right, so let's scroll down, look at our comps, look at our chart. So our comps are 10 acres, 65, 4.79. Not a huge fan of this comp just with how much less acreage it is, but it is 25,000. And sometimes it needs to go outside of its little box and have predicted price based on acreages that are a little outside, because if there's areas with less comps, which this probably is an area with less comps, that is what it's looking for. Then we have 8.32 for 51, and then two 13.87 acre properties, probably a subdivide, one sold for 75, one sold for 68. All right, so let's take a look. I really want to see these comps. There's two really solid comps, I believe. I think the first and third comp is very solid. I want to take a look at these properties. So this one, 10.7 acres, a little bit off the road. I'm guessing it includes one of these properties to give it road access. There's no way. Let's look at the MLS details. Yeah, there's no way that this one doesn't have any road access on here just based on price. Maybe it's coming up through here. You can see a little bit of a path over here as well. But overall, very similar land. This one doesn't have the wetlands, so this one probably might be a little bit higher. That's probably why the system is saying we're going to be a little less per acre. This one did sell relatively recently, so only 2 months ago, so a very solid comp there. Then I also want to hit this third comp. Again, you can see that these properties are not much wetlands. These two do have 16%, but that being said, not much wetlands on these properties. So here's one that sold a little bit over what our predicted TLP estimate is, 8.32. Oh, and I love this land. This is an amazing, amazing comp for us. So this is very similar land. It doesn't have wetlands, so we need to keep that in mind, that this property does not have wetlands. So we had 8.3 acres, and it's saying $51,000. The thing about this comp is you can see this is a year and a half old. So right now I'm recording this in April 2025, so this is 17 months old currently. So we want to keep that in mind as well. The good thing about it is when it wants to look for the most recent comps for sure. The closest acreage, the closest distance property from the property that we're comping. That being said, the market hasn't changed a ton in the last 2 years. Property this old probably isn't going to hurt our estimate at all, and it's viewing this as a solid comp. So overall, based on those two comps, I am a fan of where our price prediction is. That being said, let's go on Zillow. Let's see what's going on here. I am in Sumter County, South Carolina. We have 8.5 acres for sale for $68,000. So this one's quite a bit higher than what this is for sale, remember, not a sold property. This is quite a bit higher than what our predictive price per acre was. So, and this one does have 24 saves, so it's getting interest. So I'm curious, that one's making me think a little bit. Here we have 13 for 130. This one's way overpriced. Let's go to sold, see if there's any comps that we didn't see. I'm going to go back, making sure. So these are all in Sumter County, all of our comps. Okay, so let's go back to Zillow. So 5.67 for 50. These ones are outliers. It's viewing a lot of these as outliers. 12 for 17. That just doesn't make sense. Something's off with this comp here. It's not viewing that as a solid comp. This one, it's probably viewing as an outlier on the high end. And looking at this property, very weird in terms of what happened with it. Like, it got listed for sale on the MLS, and then it's only sold is based on public records. Something is a little off with this property. I don't think it took much account into that comp right there. So really, like I said before, this is a low comp area, which is good. The system being able to do this in low comp areas for people who are doing rural land is so important. So I'm actually happy with the result we got. That being said, this for sale comp of 8 for 68 for sale is a little concerning for me just because of the amount of interest. And when I say concerning, I'm like, okay, maybe our property is worth a little more than what we think. That's what my kind of thoughts are with this. But that being said, I don't think we are off too much. So we have 9.29 acres. Ron estimate, I'm going to say anywhere between like 58 to 62K. And remember, these comps that we had, and probably that one as well, the for sale one as well. These comps that we had do not have the wetlands. So that it could be, if it didn't have wetlands, I think it would probably be mid to upper 60s. With those wetlands, I think it can negatively affect the price a bit. So overall, this is the only one. The one we just did is the only one that is outside. My estimate is outside of our range. These other two are right in there in terms of my estimate compared to the TLP estimate. So really, really good there. And like I said, this can do it on bigger acreages as well. Maybe I'll do another video with doing it over 50 acres or doing a 50-acre property. All right, hopefully that video was helpful, guys. If you guys are not already a member of the Land Portal, there's a link in the description. We do have a free 14-day trial. Unfortunately, the comp reports, some other filtering is not on the 14-day trial plan. The $59.95 plan is where you'll get the comp report. You'll get the full system. You'll get everything with it, where you can now comp land in under 60 seconds using that report. And this is a report also that people are sending to realtors. Like they pull a comp report, they're sending to realtors, so the realtors can kind of take a look. It's very valuable in terms of that. And all those buttons on the AI comp report are clickable, so realtors can even pull up the properties as well. If you guys have any comments on the comp report, leave them in the comment section below. Other than that, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.